It's very, very typical of this team. They're always staying close to high ground, if not on that top position right now. They're going to wait until zone goes back, hit the launch pad. Are they going to land on the height? This is a risky play, but yes, Aegis goes to the back of Storm, but the player on top is not noticed. That's a 95 white tags. That's Chucky that gets picked up, but not still at the front of the zone. Actually still cranking it as a duo, but DJen has also been picked up now, so this play has been risky and it has not worked out for them so far. Aegis completely still managed to get that finish too right now, so it's a duo. They've not managed to get high ground from this, but another launch pad comes out, but they managed to miss it, Monster.
No. Oh my gosh, Aegis almost takes the fatal fall damage there, where he manages to save himself somehow, some way, and he finds skills here too. Okay, so they're still in this game. They're wounded, they're desperate, but they're back in it for Bugha on the other side. And Avery and Nasho, they're getting started here. Just getting started. 4 eliminations for them. 300 damage above the surge, holding players out on the outer edge. And they're at the spear points of the zone right now. So perfect and beautiful reads. This is how you play low ground, ladies and gentlemen. Take notes here, because Avery and Bugha are back, paired up with Nosh. I mean, the firepower is just all inside the mix right here. It's looking good for them. But the refresher, Bugha needs a refresher. He's starting to run out of material. My pick down to the low ground. Bizzle and Cooper still alive as well. They have to be careful. This could be them under the focus point right now. And look, Clix is going to fall there in the feed. KJ goes down to Avery, so Avery's going to find one as well. Trap's going to get taken out too. They need more mats though. Reese, they're starting to run out of fuel here.
They're starting to run out. This is the time where they're going to need those refreshed eliminations. They're on the perfect position for us. They're keeping ahead of Storm. So many players are going to be start to drop down. You can see them start to looking for walls, looking for players. But this bridge that they're going back over is actually going to be so problematic, because players are going to go underneath. They're trying to look up. They're trying to drop players down into their box, so anything they can. And this is Bugha now down to the lowest materials, but no, he's actually managed to get the refresh from one of his teammates there, being up to 14 builds total, but not fully stacked yet, not ready to do anything, but still on high ground as a duo. Iomzo and Nut have managed to go through the complete chaos of DJ and Aegis' skills, going for the launch pad for them, are still in a commanding position. But if it comes down to heal off between Avery, Nosh, Bugha, and them up on high ground, we know who has the numbers game, and it seems to be the low ground.
I mean, at first glance, it looks A-okay, but on the low ground, it's getting active once again. Avery's going to find a couple more eliminations, and it's a full team wipe for Avery in the low ground. Bizzle and crew, though, trying to fight their way out from the outer edge here, and it is just chaos on every single layer. High ground, another fight's going to go down, and Nut actually gets overtaken against Iomzo, so Iomzo's the only player up. It was Jamper, Threat, and Rise there that went up for high ground, but on the low, more battles going down. Avery could not clutch up the fights here, but Bugha is here to back him up. There's the knock that he needs. There's the Siphon, the 2 come in, and now he's got the HP advantage here in the end game. That's going to put them at 11 eliminations. Don't count them out, ladies and gentlemen. This is a ridiculous amount of points, and now an official top 3 finish as well, as Iomzo finishes off Rise. So Iomzo on high ground manages to somehow clutch up. What is going down here? We might be looking at a 2v3 V1 situation, but no, scratch that. Now it's a 2-on-2 situation here. Bizzle and Coop. Iomzo goes down. Reese, who's gonna take this one home? I mean, both sides are starting to run low on material and everything, but no, there's the big trade. Coop is out. Bizzle's in the storm though. Heals are going off. The clock is still ticking. He's got 7 seconds. It might have been too early here for Nosh. Nosh has to do something big here, Reese.
He's got to do something big, but if he's got enough chug cannon splashes at the back, then he's nothing that Bizzle can do now.
No way.
Fully closed. But yes, Nosh is gonna pick up the victory round.
There it is. They're trying to make the case here on the layer. They've done a great job here, and look, they've already marked out where they need to make it to. Here comes the fire shots. That base is gonna get cracked right open. It's all wood. No one's inside of it though. Little do they know. And at least they know now that they can make the rotate for free if they have to. Caster's going to fall there, smack, and it'll get completely wiped out of the competition. Chucky, Iomzo, and Nut still alive. And on high ground, and a new team comes up to the top. Quad, Nico, and Paper with a late rotate. So they're going to be the last teams jumping on top of the squads that have to make a rotate here shortly, depending on where the Zone 6 pulls. So it's all types of deadly positioning right now, and it looks like Quad, Paper, and Nico end up pulling, for the most part, high ground in the first moving zone here. They have the natural elevation up above, and look, and it's already paying off for them as they find another set of elims here. That's going to be on to Blake and Scoped, a favorite trio inside the competition right now. That puts them up to 6 elims now inside the tournament here. This is just game number 2 for game number 2. Not bad at all here. They're set up very comfortably now.
set up very comfortably. You can see the mark comes out into the storm of all of those builds. You can see all the different players who have marked these different spots. They're going to launch pad straight away, almost definitely going to try and go into storm to try and take some of those builds from storm, take some form of damage. But no, they're being completely sprayed. Paper Ants just to go so far down, they're completely split. They've just lost height instantly. So I want to know who's managed to claim that first moving. That's going to be super important. The bottom left, you see Coop using the inflatable to get completely ahead of storm. But I've got to think, where's the Clix while he's doing a solo rotate like that? Unless all three of them have that, which could be one of the best rotates I've seen probably in a long time if they do.
Yeah, definitely, and it just comes down to chance, right? Does everyone, have the opportunity to pick up the inflatable here? And otherwise, is it worth splitting up if you did not, right? Playing for placement. I think it's worth if they're this high inside the standings, and look, they end up finding each other either way. Together. And now it's time to play textbook, right? Get in front, look back at the zone here and try to find elims, but they're playing with hot fire here. They're standing on top enemy builds. This is not fully their controlled pieces here, so Coop's got to be very, very careful right now, but they are below the surge here, Reese. There's not a lot of time for them to play with on high ground. Chubbs is solo holding, but that's not going to hold up very well. Bugha, Nosh, and Avery just trying to find their footing inside this game as well. They end up back down into low ground, as now the surge is active. Coop and crew are under complete fire here. They got to find their way into the zone, and 5 players have to go down, or they need 100 points here. Coop's going to find everything that he needs, enough to keep them alive a little bit longer, but no, still 31 damage above. It wasn't until Bizzle falls that finally the surge ends up stopping here now, and Eclipse is left by himself here to fend out the rest of this game. I mean, they've made it this far, though. With every team that falls now, placement points will be given out. How far can Eclipse really stretch here? He's playing with house money here. He's barely got anything, but it's enough for him to stay alive.
And he still has the medkits in play, so with plenty of materials left, he can definitely make sure he does at least 2 medkit plays. But no, the wall comes through, the wall take comes through. He gets bullied from one of the teams on the far side. He's trying to layer change, he's trying to get away, but the pressure is coming out from teams far, far few between. He is a solo left alive, dropping almost all the way down to low ground, which is going to give him that time to slow down and do whatever he can. But in the top, you see Jack and Slacks alive, left as a duo. And in your bottom right, our current leaders, Bugha, Nosh, and Avery, still now with 3 eliminations, full control on low ground, and that making it a number 4.
And there they fall at 11th place. They're almost broken to the top 10, just a split second longer, and it would have been enough. But on the low ground, Nosh, Avery, and Bugha still alive here. Refresher found. That's a bit of a blessing in disguise for them, as he absolutely needed the material. He comes to team split there too. Bugha's gonna fight back for the layer control here. They are starting to lose their grip on the low ground. They're gonna have to put up a big flex here, and there's the flex that I'm talking about. Find those elims, take out those extra positionings of those extra players nearby, and continue to just grab back this layer, because it's a fight on the low ground here. This is what they did so well in the last game. This is what happens when they have been practicing this type of playstyle right now, and it seems like this is where they are most comfortable so far inside the game. I mean, this is just I guess the makings of a story to happen if they can qualify through to top 3. Will they take this type of playstyle into next season, or into the finals, right, up against what would be Scented, Edgy, and Commandment? Because it seems like they've been taking notes, and they're executing very, very well.
Look, without them being in the lobby, this is much freer for that team. Basically, just to stay on low ground, mimic their play style. And look, will they be able to do that in finals? It's a very, very tough one to ask. But a team that we know will be doing in their play style in finals is Skills, Agent, and DJers. These guys are staying completely up on high, just like basically every match you ever watch from these guys. They know their play style to a T, but they've managed to lose DJ, so they're going to be consistently having to apply that pressure as a duo instead of a trio. But on low ground, they're struggling a little bit with Avery, Bugha, and Nosh, because this goes uphill as we see Bugha actually start to go up. But no, Nosh loses himself down to the storm. Avery's now playing that lower ground with Bugha, now collect himself back together. The high ground team is now still a duo, but still with another team left alive too. Avery's trying to go back into storm. He's trying to find any knock, any possibility that he can find a player, but no, up ahead is Agent Skills still on high ground, and they are going to take the victory royale for game number 2. Yep, they're pressuring those teams down below, because those are the teams who have the biggest chance of launch padding right directly on top of them. Seems like they're going to play the back of Storm here, and we have to look out for any other team who gets ahead and tries to build up, because there's so many teams trying to fly and launch padding in, trying to land wherever they can to get themselves the high ground up ahead of zone. But on low ground, Bugha is actually picked up by Smacked as well, leaving Avery and Nosh alive as a duo. They have plenty of materials, they still have the peppers to their name, but unfortunately they do not have the teammate of Bugha. But Oh, they seem to have boxed almost a full trio. The big 60 tag comes out, but no, that player manages to get away. So Avery's going to pop yet again another pepper and start focusing on that rotate.
And they have to be careful. They are 90 damage below here, guys. This is a fight that they absolutely have to take. That's a tag. That's a second. That's a knock. Beautifully done there. Can they get the full finish? And the loot is going to be the most important part for every team that falls now. Our first place team is going to be able to rocket and just propel themselves ever more forward here. Remember, coming into this game here, they had 20, maybe 30-point lead. A gap, such a substantial gap over the rest of the competition. They are making another end game here. Once again, 2 more teams fall now. They're inside the top 15 here on high ground. Jack, Acorn, and Slacks, although they didn't pull the first full moving, they managed to make it work here. They wait nice and late, sweep on in, and build out all the way across. They are trying to solidify themselves as the kings of height right now. This is the second game in a row now. They've tried to play for high ground here, and they found some moderate version of success here. In the low, everyone else is now forced onto one another because look at the distance between them on height. This is that anti launch pad style base, if you want to call it that. They're giving themselves just so much distance between them and the opponents.
Yep, and all the players that are pressuring down below are the ones who are in wood because they know that they're the weak. They know they don't have hard mats, and they're just helpless with minimal to protect themselves. That should be some easy elimination. So right now, they didn't manage to get anything. But Avery is actually still alive on the low ground. Nosh down to very, very low HP, but Avery still has so many materials left. But no, Nosh goes down in the back of Storm, and Avery hits a big 93 shot, tags him, goes to the exchange, and just nearly misses, but he's going to get the chug cannon from that as well.
I love that play right there. He's like, Nosh, you go ahead. Don't worry about it. I'm going to stay back and play defense here. And Avery wins the one-on-one that mattered the most there and then picks up the heals. What a hero play here. Now it's going to be able to bounce him and his duo back inside the competition. Even the patience there to wait for Nosh to pop his minis so they have enough to work with. And even now, I think he's conserving the additional splashes for the end game. They're trying to set themselves up for that victory royale. They are inside top 7 here. Remember, they lost Bugha at top 18, top 19 or so. So they've really managed to go the distance, even without the team. High ground, though. What happened up here? Iamzo, Nut, and Chucky managed to survive and take high ground. And now they're confirming on Elims as well. No match, though, for Avery. He forces himself all the way down into low, into the box with Straw Hat Charlie. He wins that one as well. And Avery is just on fire right now. He is the highlight machine, and he's not stopping. He's even doing the textbook hold there onto the outside. Can he find another one? No, it's not going to be enough, but it's Nosh's turn here, and Nosh is doing just what he has to do, finding all of the points in the world here. That's a top 3 position now, Reese. How have they managed to do this?
They managed to go back into the back of Storm, but it's a full trio, which will be not Chucky and Iamzo, if I'm correct, in the Storm right now. There's still so much time left. We managed to pick up a knock on Chucky as well, using the Slurp Cannon to try and keep himself alive in Storm. That Siphon is going to be huge, but at the same time, still 25 seconds left of Storm remaining, with Nuck and Iamzo are just going to be sitting in. But no, it's not enough. Nosh is unfortunately picked up, and Iamzo, Chucky, and they're going to try and build up on that high ground. And honestly, I'm not sure if Avery's team with Bugha and Nosh on high ground are going to try and maintain this, because they do not typically play that high ground play style. So for them, they're probably going to launch pad ahead and say, you know what, we're just going to claim low. Not Chucky, Iamzo, you guys take height.
No, they're landing on it. They have nothing to lose right now, Reese. I mean, at this point, they are in first place coming in. They know they've effectively made it all the way through, and it's another game for them. Top 15, right? So they're fighting for this one when they don't even have to. But hey, it's a flex. It's a big flex nonetheless, and it's against our second place holders as well. So a little back and forth doesn't result in much, but it does end up for Nosh, Avery, and Bugha just being crazy enough that the other boys are like, all right, guys, you could just have it, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
You guys, you played the play, you can go for it. But look who is in second height. DJ and Adrian's skills every single game. They've either been height or on second height right now. I don't think they're going to be able to claim that, because it does seem like Avery, Bugha, Nosh have it so solidified, but they are going for the launch pad play. But no, Bugha says no. He manages to completely ramp off the play and keep high ground pass. Avery is actually stuck down below and now picked up and fully eliminated too, now leaving Bugha and Nosh as a duo. I would be worried if this was any other team, but we've already seen last game them come second as a duo as well. But now Bugha's starting to get pressured a little bit from the front of Storm, and they seem to be down to only wood left remaining, as we see many other teams trying to build up and take this commanding position from them.
Yeah, they're hurt. They're down a member as well, and DGen lost one too. Aegis is by himself. Skittles is gonna fall on the low ground. It's not looking too hot for him. On the other side though, Chucky, Ionzo, and Nut seem to be very comfortable with 5 eliminations across the board. Remember, they had that high ground. They made a big play for it, and nothing resulted from it, so they come on down. Aegis gets wiped up. He is out of the game. For Chucky, Ionzo, Nut, what can they do here to kind of jump back into this here? They are at 131 or 135 points there in a knock and counting, so plenty of more positioning left inside this game as well to really jump their way up. And they might be fighting for a first place spot here, but it's up to whether or not they can take out Bugha and crew on height.
Hopefully they can. Ionzo not left remaining as a duo, as we mentioned, but already because they dropped down from that high ground earlier, they have that consistency. They still had the materials. They didn't fight for it. They didn't waste all those mats going for high ground. So this is how they managed to stay up. And obviously the amount of eliminations there. But no, Ionzo gets dropped down and hits a huge 185, and that is Creo on the low ground. Now Nut is left as a solo, and I doubt they will get that finish because that low ground is so solidified so far. So now Nut has to make a play. He's going down to low ground. He's going to try and go into the back of the tarp, and that's where the knock is. So they're going to slow down the revive. Hits a big 55, but no, Nut is unfortunately picked up at the back of Storm.
Yeah, it's Clix and Bucky here who are still fighting on the low ground. They're going to find a second elimination there, and the floor is on fire. Switches over to those heavy mats, and here goes those preemptive builds and fire shots there, just trying to stay up, and Clix is completely out of material now. He is also out of plays here. Where do you go? Seems like down is the only way out. And he's going to go ahead and meet 2 gun barrels down there. It's Pledge, Tabsy, and Teo who are waiting for him. On high ground, though, Who Fishy Kaz on top alongside Aspect. Aspect who actually took out Bugha from the low ground position here. So they fought for height and end up winning it out here, Reese. And it's a good old-fashioned 3v3 now.
It's a good old-fashioned 3v3. Starts to go through all of the old builds. However, on high ground, we see Aspect setting up for the heal-off play. He has the medkits in his inventory. He also has that chug cannon. Hopefully, he has some plenty of uses left in it as they all now continue to apply the pressure down below. Now, 6 seconds before this final zone closes, so almost 20 seconds from now, that's the last second that he can make that medkit play. So we're going to have to watch out for the timing of it perfectly, because on low ground with Pledge, we see the slurp cannon in their inventory too. We do not see any medkits, however, so one use of it already coming out, which is a wasted use for that heal off game.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to blow these early. You want to use them at the very end. And look, now they're starting to use all of them prematurely here. Who Fish is going to get knocked here. He's trying to deny the siphon to the opponents. He does not want to give them the opportunity. Kaz does the same thing. And now it's going all the way through the distance play here. And this is the mistake they made, right? Waiting it out, trying to see if the opportunity was there. But no, they have 2 chug cannons. I think the math just doesn't make sense any other way. Aspect has to come fight. He almost manages to pick it all up, but
you with 26 builds remaining, sitting in a cone by yourself, just watching as everyone rotates past you with their good loot, their teammates still remaining. But if anyone is going to clutch this up, it's going to be the world champion of Bugha. He's the solo player mastermind that we know, and hopefully he can get a couple more points out of this. Is it going to be a win? I highly doubt it, but will he be able to solidify some points? I do hope so, as he managed to land on another launch pad in that bottom right. Spike in the top here has actually lost high ground now, so another team has managed to claim that off them. If I was going to guess, let's be real, I'm guessing it's probably going to be DGen's team. If I was just purely picking a name out of a hat based on what we've seen so far, I'm guessing it's DGen's team up on high ground, but them so far down completely left to wood. And it's actually not DGen Skills Nature's team, as they're playing a mid-ground layer. So we have another team up on high ground, but Skills team right now up to 108 points with very good positioning and great materials.
Yeah, that's what you want right there. You want those pretty stacked materials there so you can make these rotates, full box your way all the way across. That's really what Trios allows so well to do. Skittles, though, looking up for high ground right there, still trying to contemplate whether or not he wants to go on up and snatch up his height. And yes, look, he's looking for weak points here. He's going to target. It's all wood structures. Breaks open a little bit, but not enough for him to take it all home. Bugha, still alive, though. Chug splashes, the quick heals to bounce right back into it. The moving zone as well. He's just doing a really good job staying up. Almost into top 10 now. Has to be careful, though.
And he's managed somehow to do this without getting a single elimination. So I have absolutely no idea how he's managed to make it to this point in the game, to top 12 without using a single one. And this zone is pulling through Holly Hatchery, which has this zero gravity area. And he's done a great job in the bottom right of keeping completely ahead of the storm here. And he's trying to claim through this building, keep ahead to try and pop any angles on players that are coming through. And that's the big AE tag shot. And he doesn't want anything to do this. He wants to disengage. He's keeping out. He doesn't want to risk just being picked up early. He's just trying anything that he can to pick up any single placement point that he can, is harvesting just some of these bushes. So he has a single build left and he decides to start to elevate, uses his last 3 builds here, now being pressured. He hits the 89 shot, but no, unfortunately it's over for Bugha for this match.
Yeah, that's it. He's down and out, just inside the top 10 though, so hey, you gotta be happy about that one. All those extra sweet placement points he managed to find himself. Yamzo's gonna get knocked there, and full finish too though. So our second place runner-ups, this is their opportunity to actually overtake first and hop on up, and it seems like that might have just gone out the window here. On the low ground though, Clix, Bucky, and Creo trying to make their miraculous comeback, and man, they do low ground so well as well. And someone was lurking on the backside. What in the world is Sully thinking there? Clix though just had a feeling. He checked that corner just in case there was someone waiting inside of it. And now we might just see Degen, Agers, and Skittles on the low ground clash up and meet up against Clix, Bucky, and Creo there before this high ground team sweeps on in.
Yeah, they're still alive as a full trio down on low ground, a full trio on mid ground, as well as the full trio on high ground. As the high town, the height is completely trying to switch over. Kipit's completely managed to hold it by himself so far as they lose profit. Tico still alive, trying to block off every single angle of the players trying to build up on top of him, but he does a great job of using it. But only 6 builds remaining. Tico and him still up there too alive, so they're just gonna now have to start dropping. This has used all of their materials left. That was the medkit play potentially thrown out the window because of the that they had remaining, but Clix has now lost Creo on the low ground. Him and Bucky left live as a duo. 7 eliminations between them, with another 2 on Creo as well, and potential pop-off incoming.
Worst case scenario right now, but he's gonna have to take this fight inside the storm line. That's a 1 tag, no, the miss. Unfortunate miss as well. Clix should have just went to the zone at that point. He had another chance to do so, but now it's up to Bucky by himself inside the storm line. He's gonna run around as well. Bucky finds a siphon outside. That's the extra HP to stay alive longer than Kipit's, and Bucky's gonna crank all the way up. He's trying to find out where is this last player, but no, fall damage right there might just be the difference. Go for the shot. Nope. Instead, he survives. Just
will be indeed. And Tabs has managed to launch pad, but they've actually lost Tail, and they have barely any materials left their name, and it's all wood. And this has got to think, unless he managed to pick up a big headshot snipe here, this could be over for him. But a 1v5 body shot comes out, and there's all that loot down there, and Tabs will need this. Is he get pressure from above? But no, he is picked up 2, leaving Pledge alone as a solo with barely any materials left to his name. He manages to get, I think, the siphon materials left from the 2 bodies there, but now he's also going to be pressured. Yes, with 70 builds remaining, he is tagged up literally 1 HP and a dream, but don't go into storm. No, but he gets picked up from, I think that was Blake from a third party, and that's the run over for them. The dream run looked like it was gonna happen, but unfortunately we're gonna have to see what Degen, Agers, or Skittles can do, or Creo, Bucky, and Canada, or some of the other teams who are also very close to that 3rd position.
Other teams still alive right now, they can take this here, is Creo, Bucky, Clix, Redux, Twix, and Chubbs. Possible P-God, Peterbot, K, and of course Cold Rider, Elite, and Crypt that you saw down in that low ground. For Iamzo, Chucky, and Nut, they punched their way through. They have absolutely punched their ticket. We know Nosh, Bugha, and Avery have as well. So for them to continue to play exceptional right now, I mean, they're looking to see if they can just take home the 1st place spot, which is not completely out of the question. But Degen, Agers, and Skittles, can they hold on to that 3rd place spot? I mean, they've tasted the top of the mountains, right? They've been up at the top. They've been there before. Clix and Creo are here though. They've lost Bucky.
They've lost Bucky, but also Degen's team had lost below Storm Surge with barely any materials left alive. So both teams right now who are fighting for it are 2 points difference between each other with not the best positioning either. So Clix using the majority of his hard mats in terms of the metal to get across, but trying to put that pressure onto the teams in wood right next to him as he knows that these guys are weak. But no, there's a trio in the back of his tarp, and he's trying to do anything he can to get outside of that. There's a player inside of his box, and no, he falls all the way down to complete low ground. So he's split from his teammate. He's doing anything he can to get all the way back up to Creo, and he's managed to get himself solidified into a box. But that's a lot of materials used right now, and he's still leaving Creo up by himself, and trying to player goes through the zip line into the box too, and he finally managed to get himself a little bit of peace. But no, another player as well.
Oh, he's got to be so careful here. Clix now just caught in a frenzy here of the builds. Luckily, he is going to be able to sneak on out. And this is just something that only someone as mechanically gifted as Clix would be able to get away with. A normal player would have gotten taken out a long, long time ago. But it's that exceptional mechanical skill, that practice of just playing in the playground, right? Doing all the box fights that allows him to stay ahead of the competition. He's even going to find a knock right there. And DGen, Agent, and Skittles still alive here in that mid ground. They are still in the game right now. They're actually finding a several set of elims. That's onto Peterbot. That's the competition. That's some of the big competition. They needed to take down Peterbot, TK, and Pgod. But remember, it was only a knock. It's not all over just yet. But no, the shots from up above. DGen at 15 HP. Aegis finds the Siphon. He's still alive here. This is getting closer and closer now, Reese. I mean, they're not completely safe just yet.
One build to his name, no shotgun in the inventory, purely just going with that SMG right now. He has so many heals, but he's deciding not to pop any, to just see if he can get back together with his teammate, and that's what he seems to be able to do. Clix and Creo still in this game as well. 157 points currently on Aegis, but DGen has been unfortunately picked up by the player, gets a cone in the box. He hits a big 102 shot, and he's trying to go back for the trade. He's trying to get pressure that player back in the storm, but he has a red peak, and yes, he manages to pick up the elimination. That's him up to 161 points. Not only that, he's got 2 chug cannons, so he can sit in the back of Storm and take any heals that he possibly can to stay any seconds. He has some builds remaining, but he's getting pressured from the front of the zone. But no, he's picked up 161 points.
Is it going to be enough here as we start to conclude and round out this final fight here? And now Demon, Nets, and Nick managed to take high ground here. 11 eliminations with a monstrous effort to rocket their way back up the standings and pull home as much series points as possible here into the final game of the FNCS qualifiers week 1. This is it. This is game number 6 on the low ground, though. We talked about Bowcut, Tyler, River, and Danny at the start here. When they have gotten and broken loose from their draw spot, they have managed to do exceptional things, and nothing short now of exceptional here. Just take a picture. It might last longer because Bowcut, Tyler, and River are looking to close this one up right now. It's now a 2v2 situation. They bring them down to low ground. Nick goes down, and Bowcut, Tyler hits all the shots that matters most.
I am absolutely beaming. Wow, wow, wow. I can't believe, the thing is, either one of us, the predictions go through, we're happy as